Hey guys, Matt here. I'm going to read the Cheltenham Post articles. I've been given a column in the local newspaper, the Cheltenham Post newspaper, and we've called it the grey area, thinking that's quite clever, because philosophy obviously is concerned with grey areas, and confusing, challenging problems, and so on. And also, my surname is Gray, so we thought grey area was quite cool. So I'm going to read the first article to you. And just bear in mind it's for a lay audience. I'm trying to sort of open the door for people who may have some curiosity about philosophy, but don't know much else about it, and also to try and get some interest in our Cheltenham UK Philosophers sort of social group. We've got the next, with the 5th Thyself social coming up on the 26th, so hopefully get some more interest for that as well. So here goes. Let's be honest, the world has gone at least a bit crazy in recent years. The COVID pandemic, the Ukraine-Russia war that I was lulled into believing couldn't happen in Europe again, the recent and rapid rise in AI capability, US and global politics, UK riots, and the seemingly endless polarised political debate. Canadian philosopher John Viviaki has argued that we are not only facing real existential threats to our survival, but also that we are in a meaning crisis. We've all heard before about the decline of the church in Western Europe, and it's no surprise that the withdrawal of such a huge chunk of social and cultural identity and ritual will leave something of a vacuum, which is being filled variously by sports, politics, music, subculture, New Age, and other forms of mysticism. This, coupled with the increased role of science in society and the consequent social advances in medicine, logistics, literacy, and life expectancy, the old religious and spiritual customs seem less and less relevant as history progresses. Gone are the days we could be fairly sure our neighbours would have the same spiritual, political and moral perspectives, and indeed, given the number and range of opinions, viewpoints and ideologies, the world of ideas can be a disorientating, even confusing place to be. I have found that philosophy offers a lighthouse in the stormy seas of understanding, hence the founding of Cheltenham UK Philosophers. I genuinely believe the world, starting with Cheltenham, needs more reflection, critical and clear thinking, to help defend against the ever-increasing nonsense offered up online and on TV, as well as to sustain and protect the virtues of open-mindedness and reason. Socrates, the famous ancient Greek philosopher accused of corrupting the minds of the youth of Athens, famously said during his trial in 399 BCE that an unexamined life is not worth living. His message here, as far as I understand it, is that we cannot be confident in our values, opinions, and consequently actions if we have not first assessed these positions under the light and methodology of reason. Why do we believe what we believe? Why do I do what I do? Much of our identity is essentially out of our hands, and in many cases our worldview is expected to be of a certain kind by friends and family. I'd venture that some significant portion of the mental health crisis can be attributed to feelings of displacement and lack of purpose in the world. For me, the meaning of Socrates' pronouncement runs even deeper, beyond identity and belief, into questions about our very existence. What, in fact, are we? Sure, we're apes on a rock in space, able to wield language, but more broadly, what is life? How did it emerge? What is consciousness? Is there a broad purpose to nature, some goal in mind? Are we a part of that? If there is some truth about what we are that we can begin to understand, does this change what we should do? Or a moral imperative? For me, in a time of deepening crisis, these sorts of questions are ever more important. H.G. Wells once wrote, "History is a race between education and catastrophe." It seems to me that whilst we appear ever closer to catastrophe, that there is also a counter-movement in play, an increased interest in philosophical and perhaps spiritual questions. Science is now softening its stance, and mechanistic materialism isn't the only game in town. Numerous cutting-edge scientists and philosophers, Donald Hoffman, Mike Levin, Bernardo Kastrup, Matt Segal, to name a few, are thinking outside the prevailing paradigm. Philosophy is back in the room to sort through the claims of mystics, scientists and politicians. There is nothing like philosophy and logic for exposing poor arguments or outright charlatanry. Philosophy won't give you the answers. In fact, it might even give you more questions than you had in the first place. But it will show you that, know what? It's okay to not know. It is saner and wiser to reserve judgment in complex cases. A world with a bit more humility and a bit less certainty might just be a safer world to live in right now, and one in which education and not catastrophe might just win the race.